For we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy.
Enormous blocks of stone, gigantic, weighing hundreds of tons. Massive, completely anonymous monuments about which we know nothing.
They are not fallen angels. They are critters.
We are sharing the planet with a species that's possibly as far in advance of us as we are from chimpanzees.
Guerrillas by night instead of armies by day.
Today's video, I would like to revisit the Homo capensis skulls, or the Paracas skulls, or some people refer to them as the conehead skulls. But I'd like to do a follow-up on the DNA results. I remember coming across a video by Brien Foerster talking about the DNA results, so I thought that I would find an article and make my own video about this. So this article is from the ancientcode.com. Of course, the link will be in the description, but let me get right into it. This is the DNA test results reveal the Paracas skulls may not be human. The desert peninsula of Paracas is located on the southern coast of one of South America's most enigmatic countries, Peru. It is there, in this barren landscape, where Peruvian archaeologist Julio Tello made one of the most mysterious discoveries in 1928. During excavations, Tello uncovered a complex and sophisticated graveyard under the harsh soil of the Paracas Desert. In the enigmatic tomb, Tello discovered a set of controversial human remains that would forever change how we look at our ancestors and our origins. The bodies of the tombs had some of the largest elongated skulls ever discovered on the planet, called the Paracas Skulls. The Peruvian archaeologists discovered over 300 mysterious skulls, which are believed to be at least around 3,000 years old. As if the shape of the skulls weren't mysterious enough, a recent DNA analysis performed on some of the skulls presented some of the most enigmatic and incredible results that challenge everything we know about the origin and human evolutionary tree. Skull deformation, an ancient religious practice. While several cultures around the globe practice skull deformation or elongation, the techniques used were different, meaning the results were also not the same. There are certain South American tribes that used to bind infant skulls in order to change their shape, resulting in a drastically elongated cranial shape that resembled anything but ordinary humans. By applying constant pressure over a long period of time with the use of pieces of wood, the ancient tribes would achieve a cranial deformation which can also be found in ancient cultures from Africa. However, while this type of cranial deformation changed the shape of the skull, it did not alter the size, weight, or cranial volume, all of which are characteristic traits of regular human skulls. Now, this is where the details about the Paracas skulls get interesting. The Paracas skulls are anything but ordinary. The cranium of the Paracas skulls are at least 25% larger and up to 60% heavier than the skulls of regular human beings. Researchers firmly believe that these traits could not have been achieved through head binding, as some scientists suggest. Not only are they different in weight, but the Paracas skulls are also structurally different and only have one parietal plate, while ordinary humans have two. These strange characteristics have further deepened the decades-old mystery surrounding the Paracas skulls, and researchers still have no idea what they were in the past. The director of the Paracas Museum of History sent 5 samples of the Paracas skulls to undergo genetic testing, and the results were mesmerizing. The samples, which consisted of hair, skin, teeth, and some fragments of cranial bones gave incredible details that have fueled the mystery surrounding these anomalous skulls. The genetic laboratory to where these samples were sent was not informed of the origin of the skulls in order to avoid influenced results. Interestingly, the mitochondrial DNA, which is inherited from the mother, showed mutations that were unknown to any man, primate, or animal found on planet Earth. The mutations present in the samples of the Paracas skulls suggest that researchers were dealing with a completely new human-like being, very different from Homo sapiens, Neanderthals, or Denisovans. Brien Foerster reported the following on the geneticist findings. It had mitochondrial DNA with mutations unknown in any human, primate, or animal known so far. But a few of the fragments I was able to sequence from this sample indicate that if these mutations will hold, we are dealing with a new human-like creature, very distant from Homo sapiens, Neanderthals, and Denisovans. According to reports, the individuals from the Paracas skulls were so biologically different that it would have been impossible for humans and them to interbreed. I am not sure it will even fit into the evolutionary tree, the geneticist wrote. Who were these mysterious beings? Did they evolve separately on Earth? What caused them to have such drastic differences from ordinary humans? And is it possible that these beings are actually not from Earth? All of these possibilities are theories that cannot be overruled given the current testing. The only thing that we know so far is that there are many things out there that go far beyond the understanding of researchers, historians, and scientists. Is it possible that after all the questions of whether we are alone in the universe can be answered thanks to the Paracas skulls? So that is another article on the Homo capensis. The link will be in the description. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, share it, and if you like stuff like this, please subscribe to my channel because I'm going to have more stuff like this. So if you're new to this channel, please hit the subscribe button, and if things like this interest you, or you know other people that are into these strange oddities, please share this with them. But anyways, today I want to talk about another human species that basically that they're the controllers. They are the people who are in charge of the planet and in charge of humanity. And they've always been in charge of humanity since the very beginning. But I'm going to be reading from a website called bibliotecapleiades.net. Anyways, I'll leave the link in the description. But I first heard about the Homo capensis listening to Karen Hudes. She was a senior legal counsel for the World Bank, and she was fired when she discovered some fraud or some mismanagement going on. Someone was stealing some money, so she reported it, and when she reported it, she was fired. And when she got fired, she revealed all of this information about this second hominid species that controls the banking industry, and then she got her job back. So I'm going to assume that if someone gets fired from somewhere like the World Bank, and then they get their job back after revealing information like this, I'm going to think that she got the job back because they wanted to shut her up, but they haven't. Karen Hudes is still out there revealing truth. So if you want to know more, I will also leave a link to her website, karenhudes.net, I think it is. Anyways, so let's get into this. This is by this is a web article titled "Is Homo capensis the Big Brain Conehead Earth's High Cabal and Covert Controller" by Alfred Lamont Weber. In an impassioned interview with Alfred Lamont Weber on newsinsideout.com, and with a public plea, neurologist Dr. Edward Spencer has posed a public question of whether Homo capensis, big-brain conehead hominid, is Earth's humanity's Homo sapien covert controller and covertly responsible for the plan to depopulate Earth's surface-dwelling humanity. Dr. Spencer's interview presented no direct piece of prima facie evidence as to whether big-brain conehead hominids whose IQ may average 180 covertly control the destiny of Homo sapiens are small-brain hominid species. Rather, Dr. Spencer's case is a circumstantial one using evidence that other researchers have applied to prove there is a plan to depopulate Earth's surface-dwelling humans, ascribing the plan to groups such as the Jesuits, Illuminati, Draco-Reptilian Orion Gray occupiers, and manipulatory Anunnaki ETs, among others. Dr. Spencer cites archaeological evidence that establishes a species of big-brain conehead hominids approximately 50,000 or more years ago in South Africa, as well as in South America. Following this, the conehead hominid appears prominently around images of the ruling Egyptian pharaoh Akhenaten, from 1353 BC to 1335 BC, and his wife Nefertiti. From there, according to Dr. Spencer, the trail of Homo capensis big-brain conehead hominids' direct control over human affairs becomes circumstantial, barring the surfacing of further empirical evidence. Dr. Spencer writes, "It seems to me that a definite picture is emerging, a picture composed of epigenetics, transhumanism, brain dysfunction, autism, psychopathology, vaccination, EMF saturation, targeted human electromagnetic mind control, drought by HARP, and geoengineering de facto, non-government corporations pretending to be the government, circumcision, religion, Masonic courts, Common Core education, funny money, all tied together by big brain mathematical coneheads intent on managing their small brain herd." And of course, there is more. How best do we inform the people? Dr. Spencer released the request for intellectual and emotional assistance on February 9th, 2015, the date of release of his interview. My interview by Alfred Weber is above. Alfred suggests that we have a video conference to examine the questions of large brain hominids interacting with Vatican power. It is a gift that we have learned that the pharaoh Akhenaten, a large brain hominid, had a second career as Abraham. Can we expect another find like this? My hypothesis is that we are controlled by a high cabal composed of elite bankers and large brain hominids, Homo capensis, and coneheads. The large brain hominids dominate this high cabal, which in turn controls human governments and institutions and is ultimately responsible for the incredible number of assaults on humanity, assaults on our mind, immune system, health, genetics, education, economics, well-being, scientific understanding, freedom. Their motive is simple. They overtly control the earth during the Ice Age, and they want to overtly control it again without any hassles from little brain us. They regard us as chattel and are not impeded by conscience. A critical piece of the puzzle is the fact that the Homo sapien mind has weaknesses which are exploited. Psychopathy is one of those failings. These assaults are carried out by an assortment of bamboozled human fools, directed by psychopathetic leaders, in a system where phony money reigns supreme. The bigger the lie, the better, and brutality, like greed, is good. But who orchestrates all of these attacks? Or are we to believe these are all coalescing random events? I think that non-human, non-extraterrestrial flesh and blood brains are behind this. The timescale, the vast number of instances and worldwide locations of the assaults, the relentless, all seem beyond the organizational capacity of mere human evil. The Holocaust cannot be used as a counter-argument as it was a hoax of the 20th century. The large-brain hominids are prime candidates as they possess significant intellectual ability and they are actively being hidden by a system of minions who don't know what they are doing. My strong feeling is that the probability and the danger are far too high to ignore, and that viewing the world from this perspective will greatly enhance the psychological orientations we needed to prevail. If there were no galloping tyranny, there would be no great pressure to understand the large brains. Right now, we are confronted with ever-growing list of assaults of every type. For example, weather warfare by HARP and geoengineering, vaccination assaults on immune systems and brain, mind-swaying control by remote technologies, drought delivered by weather control, constant economic threats. We need a theory of destruction, a framework on which we can hang and categorize the various attacks. Endless lists by themselves do not help. We need a theory of tyranny. The effect of mind control on the population is significant and unrecognized except by targeted individuals. If someone is passive and in denial regarding conspiracy and is absolutely certain he or she is not mind controlled, the chances are that he/she is being driven deeper into passivity and denial by an unrecognized signal. Then there are the incredible visual, tactile, and emotional experiences such as alien abduction and Mothman. In South Africa, we have the Adams Calendar, ancient observatory with the rough boulders mapping the constellation Orion and equinoxes. A short distance away is a small pyramid, is on the almost exact line of longitude of the Great Pyramid of Giza, 330,000 nautical miles to the north, where the pyramids are positioned as the stars in Orion's belt. We have the ruins of a huge ancient civilization nearby the north, vast ruins including agricultural fields and thousands of rough stone silos, structures without windows or doors, a civilization mysterious and unexplored archaeologically. The map of mitochondrial Eve's migration shows the starting areas to be approximately the location of this huge ancient civilization. Below is an excerpt from the Code of Big Brain. Just about 100 miles from the original Boscombe discovery site, further excavations were once carried out by none other than our indefatigable museum director, Frederick Fitzsimmons. He knew what he had discovered and was eagerly seeking more of these skulls. At his new dig site, he came across a remarkable piece of construction. The site has at one time been a communal living center, perhaps tens of thousands of years ago. There were many collected rocks, leftover bones, and some casually interned skeletons of normal-looking humans. But to one side of the site, in a clearing, was a single carefully constructed tomb built for a single occupant, perhaps the tomb of a leader or a revered wise man. His remains have been positioned to face the rising sun. In response, he appeared unremarkable in every regard except for a giant skull. The enormous ruins of the ancient civilization in South Africa are not studied, and it's very hard to find them on a map. Michael Tellinger has performed a great service in producing beautiful photographs of these ruins, but I think his interpretations of what he finds there is totally incorrect. Look what Frederick Fitzsimmons discovered. Consider what we are likely to find in a comprehensive archaeological study of the ancient ruins. I think we are engaged in a controversy of Anunnaki, Nephilim, and extraterrestrial versus large-brain hominids that map the earth, built megalithic structures now underwater, built the ancient civilizations in South Africa, built the pyramids of Giza, and built many other astounding artifacts discovered but ignored by establishment institutions. The large-brain hominids did design work, but we Homo sapiens did the manual labor. Does it matter if humanity is remotely controlled, by another species? After all, the numerous attacks on humanity are organized by humans. Shouldn't we just consider the human element and deal with one attack at a time? That is what we try to do, and it isn't working well enough. The attacks are proliferating rapidly, and each attack is considered and fought in isolation, but each attack is part of an all-encompassing plan. We want to go after the top and neutralize the mind directing the whole thing. All of the men working against humanity are confused, and some of these have doubts about what they are doing but don't understand. Some of those in doubt will react strongly when they realize they are taking orders from a species intent on rendering humanity extinct. No independent thought or action, in effect a computer radio-controlled zombie. The whole tyrannical system is a matrix of lies that will dissolve in truth. However, we need numbers to do this. If one person educates two, and each of those goes out to find two more, 10 doublings gives us thousands, an impressive number. If 10 more doublings are accomplished, we are at 1 million. Knowing the power of doubling provides a motivation to learn and teach. We must be motivated. Vaccination is hysterically pushed by the establishment at every level. It is a worldwide biological attack against Homo sapien children and is best explained as a species attack. Karen Hudes, Coneheads and the Grey Pope. Dr. Spencer originally introduced former World Bank counsel Karen Hudes to the Homo capensis thesis of world domination. He cites emails from Karen Hudes about Homo capensis to the Grey Pope, Pope Orsini, and to the webmasters of Jesuit World Headquarters and Borgino Sandi Spirito in Rome. Karen Hudes in turn believes the Grey Pope, Pope Orsini, is the liaison with the Homo capensis coneheads. One source states, Pepe Orsini, the Grey Pope, the most powerful man right now in the conspiracy over this world, is a Roman by the name of Pepe Orsini of the powerful Roman papal bloodline, the Orsini, also known as Orso, and the ancient Maximus family. There is no one more powerful than this figure who is really the Grey Pope. Pepe Orsini of the Roman Maximus clan, he's the Grey Pope and is the king of the Holy Roman papal bloodline, above the Rothschilds and Rockefellers, but in line and of equal stature to the Breakspear, Aberandini, and other papal bloodlines. Knight of Malta, Tom Cruise donates to the Optimum Population Trust of Manchester, England. He and his father are major depopulationists. Both are tied to the papal bloodline Orsini family, a most powerful family in complete control of the conspiracy. Pepe Orsini is the Grey Pope working with his Black Pope in the Society of Jesus. The Orsini Maximum Orso family are the Zoroastrianist shadow hierarchy of the Jesuit order. Excerpts from Karen Hudes' email on Homo capensis. Dear Marco Brufidi, thank you for your email. I am copying Dr. Ed Spencer, who is the neurologist that introduced me to this information. I am going to respond only tentatively because I do not have reliable answers to many of your questions. I believe that the Grey Pope, Pope Orsini, is the human interface with these beings, and so I am also copying the webmaster of the Borgo Santo Spirito Church in Rome. This communication may or may not have reached the Grey Pope or the big brains, as Dr. Spencer and I refer to them. I tried to put these beings on notice that they needed to deal with us ultimately, and the sooner the better. The reason that I wrote to Raymond Greenberg is because he is the only person whom I know that admitted to first-hand acquaintances with these beings. They did not respond, nor did Raymond. I do believe that our very thought process have been hacked so that they are acutely aware of our questions and are responding through disinformation and attempts to distract us. This is obviously not working, but my observation is that these beings are not very capable of changing course in response to feedback. I am responding to the rest of your questions in italics below. Best, Karen. So let's see. which they responded, "Dear Raymond, I wanted your advice because it is high time for the big brain hominids to recognize Homo sapiens' birthright before this becomes impossible with mutual destruction the only outcome. Pepe Orsini, the great pope, has no remaining authority and must step aside. Best, Karen." So there you have it. Here's, just a little introduction. And if you look at these, the images that I've been showing, you can see it's pretty obvious that these people with, larger skulls than us, and they're definitely not Homo sapiens with, whose skulls have been deformed through cranial deformation, because the suture lines are different. We have the occipital sutures and the sagittal sutures. These cone heads, they do not have those. So we are two distinct species. So that's that. I would always advise using the internet, using Google, using whatever source you have to do research on your own. All I want to do is introduce you to this subject, and I hope that you gain some interest, and want to know more about this, and you do your own research. So that's it for this video. If you like this subject, please give this video a thumbs up and share this video. And if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. I'm going to be finding more information or more mysteries out there. Yeah, I'm going to be looking for more mysterious information and stories that I can share with you guys. So that's it for today. Have a good one. Take care.